Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker HD. In the last episode, we successfully defeated Ganon and brought peace to the Great Sea. And in this episode, we're gonna tie up some loose ends, talk about some bonus content, and of course finish up the pictograph gallery, or the Nintendo gallery with the pictographs, you know what I mean, that I mentioned last time. As you can see, we are on Outset Island. Clearly we don't have most of our equipment, and that is because this is what it looks like when you boot up the second quest. All in all, not really anything different. Pretty much starts out the same. One thing you will notice though is that in my inventory already is the pictograph box, so it'll have all the pictures that you had at the completion of the first quest of the game. And you can see this is what I have in here. And this actually, you know what, I'll talk about that later, but for now I'll show off all the other differences we have access to at this time. So we can see Errol up here is actually wearing a different outfit. This is the outfit she wears when she's with her with the pirate crew after being saved, as opposed to her normal clothes. Just a nice little touch there. Alright, for our next stop, we're going to progress through the opening of the game a little bit more, see what happens when we talk to our grandma. I've been waiting for you, Link. Here you are, Link. Try these on. These are special clothes made of a special fabric only the honest can see. Time certainly flies. I can't believe you're already old enough to wear these clothes. You got the hero's new clothes. What the? Wow, they're really light. What's the matter? Why the long face? You can see them, can't you? Well, today's the day we commemorate the fact that you've reached the same age of the hero of legends. You have to be proud of that for at least one day. Put them on and see if you can't fool anybody in town. In the olden days, this was the old boy... okay, well, I'm pretty sure this is the normal way. Yeah, this is just the normal dialogue. Talks about the shield. But yeah, as we put on the clothes, we can see, Isn't that nice, Link? They suit you perfectly. A perfect fit. Well, tonight I'm going to invite the whole town over for a birthday party. Oh boy. So, this is definitely one of the sillier parts of the second quest. So technically, we are wearing the hero's clothes, even though it doesn't show up in here. But essentially what this translates to is... invisible clothes means we get to wear our Outset Island outfit for the entire game, which I do kind of like. It's pretty nice. This is a cool outfit for Link to wear. So, in addition to those few things, there's actually a couple more things that happen when you start up a second quest. First of all, in addition to your pictograph box coming with you into the new game, you also carry over all of your figurines from the Nintendo gallery, which means, you know, if you were just missing that one figurine from earlier in the game, but you can't seem to find it later on in the game or something like that, at least you don't have to play through the entire game again just to get that picture. Or similarly with the boss fights where you can retake the picture, things like that. So you don't have to play through the whole game just to get a picture that you might have missed. In addition to Link not wearing the hero's clothes, or at least wearing an invisible set of the hero's clothes, any speech talking about the clothes themselves, like how it must be hot or whatever, is changed. So anytime a player mentions his clothing, they're gonna not mention it in the same way. I'll throw some examples of the text on the screen here. Another thing that has changed is that all of the Hylian text spoken throughout the game, so that weird gibberish language that all the old characters talk in, like the King of Red Lions and Valoo, things like that, it's all translated for the viewer to see. Link won't be able to understand it still, so it's still technically Hylian, I guess, but it's just translated so you can actually understand what they're saying. Again, I'll throw up some examples of what that's talking about onto the screen here. And the final major change that occurs in the second quest is that when you're looking for sunken treasure, it's going to be in a different spot. So the treasure charts will still reflect where the new location is, but typically they're located farther away from the islands themselves, so it makes it harder to identify where the treasure is and what island it's supposed to be connected to. Okay, now that all the changes in the second quest have been gone over, I'm going to now talk about some of the things that I neglected to talk about or maybe missed throughout the main game. I'm sure there are still other things that I missed, but, you know, if there are, then, and someone points out to me, who knows, maybe I'll make another video talking about those in the future. But for now, this is what I know I still need to cover. So first of all, I don't believe I ever talked about the hero mode that is available in the Wii U version. And that is the mode, you can select it from the main menu when you start a new game, and the main differences there are that Link takes twice as much damage from enemies, and he can't find hearts that spawn in the overworld. Essentially, no hearts will pop out of jars or from enemies or anything like that. Essentially, it's just hard mode. Makes health a lot more valuable and makes it a lot harder to get through the game. So if that's something you're interested in, maybe you think this game is a little bit too easy, you are welcome to select hard mode from the main menu when you start up a game. Additionally, there were two small secrets I actually ended up missing on Dragon Roost Island. The first one, I believe I pointed it out in an earlier video, where you can see a block that's kind of in the cliffside, and I really didn't know how to get to it. I did find the path there. It's a little bit obscure, but basically on the outlook perch within, you know, Dragon Roost Island, that higher ledge there is a little stone, gravestone looking thing. You can see it off in the distance. If you fly there, it'll direct you to the next one, and that one will direct you into the cave where you can find the treasure you're looking for. The treasure is only 100 rupees. I opened it off screen just when I found it. I forgot to record it, but it's only 100 rupees, it's not that big of a deal. And another secret is if you blow up a rock right here, you can find a small little gauntlet of enemies. It's not important whatsoever, it's very basic enemies, basic challenge, and the prize for winning it is only 50 rupees, so you can probably see why I neglected to mention it during the main series. I just literally didn't even remember it existed because it is so insignificant. But now with that all out of the way, we can now move on to the main event of the video, which is the pictograph gallery and everything that I get to explain going along with it. So give me just a couple seconds and I will meet you there. Okay, so here we are back in the Nintendo gallery. As you'll see in a minute, I have officially completed the entire gallery. Whoo boy, was that an ordeal. Funny enough, the last pictograph I ever got was a mini Blinn. That was the last one I needed to finish it by the end, so, you know, I guess that's fitting. But anyway, I have a small list of things that I would like to go over in the detailing of this process, maybe some helpful tips, as well as one mechanic that I did not talk about, and that is the existence of legendary pictographs. Now, a legendary pictograph is essentially just a pictograph that is impossible to obtain in the gameplay, mostly because the subject in question only appears in a cutscene. So these pictographs can be bought from Lenzo for a small fee of 150 rupees, and I really don't understand how we got them, because some of these pictographs are really, like, clearly had to go through some trouble to get these pictographs, some of which that even Link was, I don't know. I don't know what this dude did to get these pictographs, but clearly that's not a question that they're ever going to answer. Regardless of that, there are 7 pictographs you can obtain through this method. They are Ganondorf, the Great Fairy, Jabun, Queen of Fairies, Fido, Larudo, and Daphne's Nohansen Hyrule, aka the King of Hyrule. The pictograph that Lenzo sells you depends on the phase of the moon, and that is something I will show on screen here. And that's pretty much everything you need to know about the legendary pictographs. So, next thing is, for characters that seem like they'd be missable, like Medley or Makar, characters that move around different places, there are actually other ways to get them that I didn't talk about in this playthrough. Basically, Medley and Makar, they stay in their respective temples after you bring them there, so you can still go back there and claim the pictographs of them. And also, there is the Rito postman from the side quest involving Maggie and the other girl whose name I don't remember. No, wait, it didn't involve that girl. Maggie and her dad, and Mo the Moblin. Yeah, that side quest thing that was really concerning. That postman, he's the same one that flies away when you first get to Dragon Roost Island, and then he hangs around on Windfall Island for a little while during that side quest. But then after that, he flies back and goes to that same location on Dragon Roost Island. So basically, don't forget where he is. He flies away every time you talk to him, and it can be hard to get a pictograph of him, so I definitely recommend getting the pictograph of him from when he's hanging out in the cafe, not before or after. And with that, I believe that's everything I want to talk about before we go around and look at some of these. I'll point out anything special about figurines when we get to them, if there is anything special about them. But this is essentially just going to be a nice walk down memory lane, visit all the old characters that we talked to and interacted with throughout this playthrough. So we're going to start with this room, which represents the Forest Haven. So we got Makar here, King Deku Tree, all of these, what are they? Ooh, why am I blanking on what these are? Also, I never show this off, but talking to examining the figurine gives you a little bit of the background. Koroks, wow, I can't believe I forgot the name of the Koroks. That's awful. Here is one of the legendary pictographs that I was talking about. We have Fado, obviously, somewhat saucy. What does that mean? Kokori Sage, yep, everything we know about them already. And we have a bunch of the Koroks here, as well as the figurine maker and the guy who hangs around here. His name is Manny. I think every one of these rooms has a legendary pictograph except for one, if I'm not mistaken. I'll be sure to point them out or go over any of the other ones that you can miss in the game. I'm not going to go over where to find every one of these because, I mean, it would just take too long. It just wouldn't be worth it. Certain ones do get you special pictographs. For example, I believe this only looks like this if you take a picture of him after Medley goes away. I don't know what the implication here is. That he it's implication that he just aged a lot in that time, or is it just because he's sitting down that he looks smaller? Oh yeah, you can mess with the camera a lot with these. It's pretty fun. Basically just getting to look at their character model up close. Let's see. Here we go. Larudo, another one of the legendary pictographs. And Valu, you can actually get a picture of him. It's kind of silly, but if you go to one of the upper rooms of the Dragon Roost Cavern, you can just barely see his head, and that's the easiest way to get a picture of him if you don't have the deluxe pictograph box yet. Let's see. I think there's one of these Rito. I don't know which one. I think his name is it this guy? Ilari. I think it might be him. One of these is the one that just straight up disappears after Medley is awakened as the Earth Sage. I pointed him out in the playthrough, so just be sure to get him if you're trying to complete it. Let's see. We'll move on to the next room, though. Oh wait, no, it wasn't that guy. No, it was Kogoli. That's right. I remember his name because I remember looking at it so much. Let's see if we can find Kogoli. Is it you? No, you're holding one of the things. Is it you? Kogoli, yeah, there we go. Worrying about the state of the island, but no one's ever seen him working to improve it. And then, yeah, he just straight up disappears. So, yeah, make sure you get him. He's the least, all the other ones just, are missable for significant or understandable reasons. But this one is just kind of weird that you can't see him. I went to the right room, right? I wasn't even looking at the screen. I don't know how I managed to do that. Or did I just walk across the hallway? Wait, what did I do there? Okay, yeah, somehow I walked into the right room on the first try. Cool. Anyway, let's look around here. This is our basic enemy room. I don't think this is the only one that doesn't have a legendary pictograph because, why would it? And there's not anything missable in here either. This is by far the easiest room to complete if you know where to find all the enemies. Strangely enough, this was the last room I did complete just because I didn't take pictures of enemies very often during this game. I'm gonna admit that openly. But yeah, pretty nice looking at all the enemies. We'll move on to the next one though, because there's nothing too exciting in this room. It's just a basic collection of insignificant creatures. Next one though, I believe has some of the cooler stuff. Yeah, this is our mini boss and final boss room. So we have Dark Nuts, slightly stronger Dark Nuts, and the Mighty Dark Nut. This one you can't actually miss. This is the one that appears both in the basement of the castle and up the stairs of Ganon's castle. So just be sure you get a picture of him if you're worried about missing it. Does it say? Yeah, he's a Mighty Dark Knight, which is the difference. Dark Knight's a captain somewhere. Capes that must be burned or cut off before their armor straps can be cut. Oh, I didn't even know that. Did not even pay attention to that. I think I just hit their head a bunch. Or I cut off their cape without noticing. That's cool, though. Let's see. We have our boss. Boss. All those, you take the pictograph when you fight them. Let's see. Big Octo. You have to get the pictograph before you kill them all, so just keep that in mind. And there are two... Okay, so Ganondorf is a legendary pictograph. Base operations, Ganon's castle. Effective weapons, light arrows, and master sword. The possessor of the Triforce of Power, Ganondorf controls many fell beasts. It is useless for Link to try to face him alone. He must look for an ally who can aid him in battle. Clearly alluding to our final fight with him, but... if we had, that would be a hint of what we have to do in the final fight. There is a way to get the pictograph of him after that final fight, though, because obviously you can't. What am I trying to say here? Like, you can actually take a pictograph of him in that fight and keep it. Basically, it either carries over into the second quest and you play through the game to get to this point. You add him to the gallery, or there's a trick I believe that you can use. I know it works on other ones, but if you start the fight and then save and quit, you will still have the pictograph, but you won't be able to... Well, now that I think about it, maybe you can't. No, I think you can. I think you can save and quit and leave. It'll bring you outside of Ganon's tower, and that will... allow you to go back to the teleporting spot to the overworld, and then you'll be able to bring the pictograph here. And that is actually the only way to obtain this one, which is the Puppet Ganon boss fight. You have to take the picture, or you have to initiate the boss fight, take the pictograph, and then save and quit so you can exit the fight outside of Ganon's castle. Because once you finish the fight, that door stays locked. You can't leave. So you can't return back. You have to save and quit the game. Or, yeah, save and quit the game. It'll send you outside. Well, see, now that makes me question Ganondorf here. Because if you save and quit and might... Okay, don't trust me on that Ganondorf thing. Just buy the legendary pictograph. I don't know what I'm talking about on that one. But this one, you definitely have to save and quit in order to keep it. Before finishing the boss fight. If you finish the boss fight, I think you get stuck in there. Oh, and this one is the mini boss Wizrobe, which is, again, different, I guess, because he summons. Alright, we will move on. Godan, I also mentioned that you can take a picture of his head sitting dormant in the Tower of the Gods if you really need to, if you didn't manage to get the picture during your initial fight. The next room on our journey through the history of our adventure, I guess is what we can call it, is Outset Island. So this one I literally didn't do until after the game. I didn't once take pictographs of anything. We got a crab, we got all of our townspeople, both the little kids. Let's see, where are the special ones? Okay, yep, we have Jaboon, who is a legendary pictograph. Greatfish Isle. Yep. No one understands anything he says. Let's see. Oh, and we have Errol, who you can't actually take a pictograph of throughout the main game unless you are either in the second quest or... Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the only way to get a pictograph of her normally. But in the first quest, the way you get her is she comes along packaged with your grandma. So all you have to do is take a picture of your grandma, and Medley comes with you. Not Medley. Errol. Errol comes with you. Let's see what hers says. kind and true to her family. Link's energetic younger sister, adored by all who meet her. Her current goal is to learn how to fetch water so she can help her grandma. Yeah, very pure and sweet. We love our sister. And technically, we reset time to be here, so technically she's with pirates. I guess that's better than nothing. Oh, I should also mention, I forgot to mention it in the Dragon Roost Island room, but if you don't get a picture of Quill the Postman, he does just come along with the Rito Chieftain, so you don't have to worry about him either. Let's see, this room is all of the Windfall Island folks. No one, I believe, is missable here. Let's see, yep, everybody just around. These ones you're going to want to take after this row right here of the rich and poor versions of them. You're going to want to take these after you finish everything at the second go of Forsaken Fortress, just because that way it makes sure you get both versions of the character. Yep, just a bunch of NPCs. I don't know if his is different if you wait until after he gets tied up like that. I don't know about that one. But, yep, just a bunch of townsfolk. Very nice. Is there a legendary one? I don't think there's a legendary one for this section either, now that I think about it. Yeah. Yeah, that's right, because one of the rooms has a bunch of legendary ones, as opposed to a couple that don't have any. Let's move on to the next one, though. Is our Great Sea figurine. So I already mentioned there's some weird stuff that could happen if you do the Tingle figurines before Knuckle Joe. Not Knuckle Joe, that's a Kirby character. That's Ankle. This one's Knuckle. Yeah. Younger brothers, happens to be Ankle's twin. He's finished carving Tingle Tower. 10 years old, it was a studio. Even without his figurine. Cool. I think, oh wait, what did that last part say? It used to bother him that this collection was considered complete even without his figurine. Okay, that is referencing the original Wind Waker, where because you could accidentally miss him, the gallery would be complete even if you didn't have his figurine. So that's just a nice little callback there. We do have a bunch of the legendary pictographs in this room, or yeah, legendary figurine pictographs in this room. We have the Great Fairy, all 4 of them. Actually, I think there's more than 4. Yeah, there's more than 4 because there's the one on the overworld, but whatever. And then the Mother of Fairies, or the Queen of Fairies, which still creeps me out to no end. I believe there's one more. Oh yeah, there's, well, one, technically 2 more. So we have the King of Hyrule right here. What's his info say? I'm curious. King of Hyrule. The King of Hyrule is unable to protect his kingdom from evil and left its fate up to the gods. The King of Red Lions is merely his disguise. Daphne, no hands in Hyrule, yep. And packaged along with him is Zelda, or Tetra, in her Zelda outfit. Princess Zelda, legitimate heir to the Hyrule royal family. She's actually Tetra. Yep, hers just comes packaged because you never actually get to take a pictograph of her, and there weren't, I guess, enough moon phases to have her be her own, so they just packaged her with the King of Hyrule. And speaking of Tetra, as I mentioned, the only way to get Tetra is while she's following you around in Hyrule before she becomes Zelda, and with her you get all of the pirates. So I believe that's everything that needs to be talked about in this room. Yeah, I think that's it. Move on to the next one. Oh wait, that was all of them? Wait, did I miss one? Something's not right here. Hold on, give me a second. Ah, here we go. Okay, so we can see now that we've exited and re-entered after looking at the pictographs. I apparently hadn't done that yet. Our friend the Carver is nowhere to be found. Do you say anything about that? Manager guy is gone, you know. Yeah, he left one last figurine and took off somewhere. I have no idea where. He left your figurine in the vast ocean room right over there. I have made every last figurine this world could possibly desire from me. I have set out into the world in search of new inspiration to guide my hands. That's what was written here. So I guess this means you're the new master of the Nintendo Gallery, aren't you? Hehehe. Looks like you'll be with us for a long, long time. Well, I'll be counting on you, buddy. I'll be here every day. How sweet. And what he's talking about is... this one right back here. A nice friendly figurine of Link and the King of Red Lions. This is your reward for finishing the Nintendo Gallery. What's it say about it? Link and the King of Red Lions, birthplace, Outset Island, favored hand left. The hero of wind, Link, uses the Wind Waker to control the wind and sail the seas on his mysterious boat, which is actually the King of Hyrule. Weird that the figurine guy knows that. Surprisingly, he seems to have an unnatural interest in figurines and has at last completed his collection. He is now the master of the Nintendo Gallery. How nice. Yeah, it would have been nice if there was some sort of, you know, actual reward, but for an optional side quest, this is a nice, cool looking optional trophy. Like the way it looks, and it does round out the collection very nicely. So, now that we are officially the master of the Nintendo Gallery, and therefore have officially finished everything there is to do in The Legend of Zelda. Oh, I can't go back there, but it's mine, technically. Okay, whatever. We have officially completed everything there is to do in Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker HD. And so this is the actual final episode of the series. I hope you guys have all enjoyed watching. I thank you again for watching this series and, you know, making this worth it, making it feel like there was a reason for me to be doing this besides my own enjoyment. And so going forward, look forward to some different type of content on this channel. Hopefully there should be some coming out relatively soon after this episode airs. It's not the most different thing in the world from a Let's Play, but it's at least different enough that I think I'll enjoy it a little bit better, and it'll be something a little bit more fun for me to work with. So with that, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in a future video. Have a good one.